Why is it that two people can try to build the same habit, but one sticks with it while the other drops it? I had to find out that this is not actually a problem of willpower, it is something deeper. Hey fam, this is the morning gear with Danny, and I am Danny, your Gen Z educator, here to transform your identity by refining your mentality. The other day, a friend told me he wanted to start waking up early to work and also work on his goals. 3 days straight was on fire, but by day four, he was back to that old self of his. And when he told me, I laughed. I laughed because I've been there too. That short burst of motivation, then right back into old patterns. But that conversation got me thinking habits aren't just our disciplines or routines, they are about the mindset behind them. So, today, let's talk about how mindset drives the habits that stick. I promise you that by the end of this episode, you'd know what habits truly are, how habits can work for you or work against you, and how setting a goal to break a bad habit, why it's not going to work. Might also transition into knowing the mindset shift that makes habits easier to build. So, Dave Brailsford talked about a philosophy or strategy called aggregation of marginal gains. Simply means searching for tiny margin of improvement in everything you do. For example, if you broke down everything or anything that relating to maybe driving a bike, then you can try to improve each and everything by 1%. You get a significant increase when you put all of them together. The same way you put everything that relates to cooking the food and you try to improve on each of every aspect by 1%, when you gather all these your improvements together, you'd see a significant improvement. So that is basically the philosophy of the aggregation of marginal gains by Dave Brailsford. These tiny margins are oftentimes overlooked and they are not noticed by other persons except from you practicing it. But then these tiny margins are what can form habits. What are habits? Habits are the compound interest of self improvement. Compound interest. And you say compound interest, what do you mean? Before something can be said to compound, that means it is more than one thing. It has been done repeatedly before it can be said to be a compound, or it involves more than one thing. So habits are compound of self improvement. The same way that money multiplies through compound interest is the same way that the effect of your habits multiply as you repeat them. Either it's a good habit or a bad habit, the effect of that same habit multiply as you repeat them. A single decision is easy to dismiss, but a slight change in your habits can guide your life into a very different destination. Look, making a choice that is 1% perfect or 1% better or 1% worse would seem insignificant in that moment. Over the span of moments that make a lifespan, these choices, that 1% choices, determine the difference between who you are and who you are becoming. So this is how habits affect our entire life. This is how habits affect our entire well-being. So every habit you practice, every habit that has become automatic in your life as of now is pointing to who you are and who you are becoming. Like a quote says, success is a product of daily habits and not once in a lifetime transformations. Imagine you are a millionaire and you are spending more than you are earning currently, and then you are aiming to become a billionaire. It is not going to work because you are currently on a bad trajectory. So that is how much your habits can affect the life you want and who you become. For instance, as well, if you are broke and you are saving a penny every week, 10% of your income, normally that would seem very, very little. But compound this to maybe a year time, Now imagine now my weekly income is, let's say, 20,000, and I'm just dropping 10% of 20,000. That's about 2,000, right? So now that 2,000 in, let's say, 30 days, that's 4 weeks, that 2,000 will give me what? 8,000. 8,000 in 3 months. You see how much that has compounded because of what it was done repeatedly. Now, your actions are a lagging measure of your habit. So whatever actions you perform are lagging measures of your habit. For instance, your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your net worth is going to be determined by your financial habits, how you spend money. Do you make money grow for you? Do you invest it, or you just get and squander and all those stuff? So your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. The same way your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. If you eat 10 times a day, it's going to show in your weight. So let's say those actions can also be termed your reality. So your reality are lagging measures of your habits. The same way your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. If you are someone who is very knowledgeable, if you're someone who reads books, if you're someone who makes research, if you're someone who invests time in learning and unlearning and relearning, your knowledge would be on a higher scale. Your IQ per se would be on a higher scale because your learning habits are also on a higher scale, right? Good habits make time your ally, but bad ones make it your enemy. This is why it's necessary to know and learn how habits work, how it is associated with your mindset, how to design them to work for you so you avoid them working against you. So imagine this. You came back from work and you wanted to drink water, but you found that the water in your refrigerator got to freeze, and then you brought one bottle out, you dropped it on the table. Let's say the room temperature at that point was 25 degrees Celsius and the water did not melt. 25, it was still there, 26, 27, 28 degrees Celsius, and the water has not actually melted or even begun the process of melting. 28, 29, 30, 31 degrees Celsius, the water is still there. 32 degrees Celsius, the water is still there. And suddenly, 33 degrees Celsius, that water started to what? Melt. What do you think happened? It was energy stored. So this is how habits actually are. That's why they're called the compound interest of your self-improvement. As tiny as it seems, you might not see the effect as of now, but then with time you'd see the effect. Let's say you are about 70 kg and you're trying to lose. I don't think 70 kg is that big. By the way, let's say you are 110 kg and you're trying to lose weight, and you go to gym the first day, you go to gym the second day, you go to gym the third day, you go to gym throughout the week, and there's obviously nothing. You are not seeing anything happen. You do not see any changes. Does it mean that those days you've gymmed were for waste? No, they were stored. Those energy were stored for a greater effect. And then you continued in 3 months' time, and a friend sees you and like, wow. Look, man, you've lost a lot of weight. What slimming tea did you use? Overnight success. Unknowing to them that you've put in hard work, time, effort to get where you are today. And you also notice that even by that 3 months, if you continue to 6 months, you see that going to gym becomes part of your life. Going to gym becomes like an automatic thing for you. That is how habits are. Let me use this as an instance. If you walk into a room and the light is off, what's the first thing you do? Your brain automatically goes to the light switch and you turn on the light immediately. You don't even have to think about it. Do you know why? That has become an automatic habit. An automatic habit. And that's how habits can be. And that is why I say habits can be the ally of your time or an enemy of your time. So an ally, when it is now automatic, you gain freedom. You don't have to waste much of your energy thinking about what to do because your brain has already found a pattern of what to follow, of what to do at a particular point in time, and then you just perform that action. So that is why it's essential to build habits. consciously, intentionally, so that they can be an ally to your time and not an enemy to it. I hope you understand. So I also researched and I found that cancer spends 80% of its lifespan undetectable, then sprouts out in months. And I say he died of cancer, she died of cancer. That is how habits are. They are undetectable, but their effect is compounding. Their effect is compounding. That is why it's essential to build habits. It is essential to build habits. If you are someone who is keen for freedom, you should learn how to build habits because it's very, very important. Like I said before, your work is not wasted, but being stored. And change can take place before happening all at once. There's something we call invisible growth. There's something we call invisible change. You plant a bamboo tree and it takes 3 to 4 years to 5 to 6 years to even sprout. And in 6 months' time, boom, it's everywhere. After spending 3 to 4 to 5 years beneath the surface of the ground, what was it doing? It was spreading roots. It was gaining stability. It was gaining balance. And then after that, after all those down processes, it then begin a journey of sporadic growth. That is how habits can be. That is why it is essential to build a habit. So, every big story you hear today, every big thing came from the effect of compounding effect of little things. That's why they said little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. So, what little drops of water are you kind of intentionally dropping? What are you doing to ensure who you want to be in the future is not going to be changed? You definitely get to that place you want to be determined by your habits. So it's essential to tailor your habits to your growth. Now, most things that I notice that when people like want to break habits is that they focus on the goal rather than systems. One big mistake I see that most people make is that whenever they want to break a habit, or maybe they want to start a new habit, they set a goal. Maybe now I want to lose weight. Yeah. Then I would say I want to lose 30 kg of weight. Forgetting that it's not about the goal itself, but about the systems backing the goal. And I don't know who set that narrative that breaking a habit or starting a new one should be based on a goal. I'm not saying you should not have a goal, but goal being the first thing is actually a bad mindset. Goal being your first thing. Oh, I want to break smoking, and then my goal is not to smoke for the whole month because I want to break the addiction of smoking. Okay, I want to break the addiction of porn. My goal is now that I would avoid porn for maybe a month. That goal, that habit that you are trying to inculcate is based on a goal and it is likely to fail. And I'll tell you why. Because what if you achieved that goal? What next? What happens? It restricts your happiness to when that goal is achieved. And that is kind of a mindset that I don't know who brought it, but it has affected a whole lot of people. Let me explain to you the difference between goals and systems. Goals are the result you want to achieve. Systems are the process that leads to achieving those goals. And this is quite the determining factor of your success in achieving your set goal. Your system is the determining factor of your success in achieving that set goal. Now, I want to lose weight. That is my goal. The systems behind losing weight is me minding the diet, minding the amount of time I eat, making sure I go to the gym, making sure I don't sleep late, making sure I don't eat late. These are systems, and these systems are the things we actually need to consider when setting a new habit or breaking an old one. So now, let me ask you, if you ignored your goals and focused on your systems, would you still achieve your goals? Most certainly, yes. Imagine this. The goal of any team now is to achieve the best score. Maybe a sport team is to achieve the best score. But would that goal be achieved by just staring at the scoreboard? No, it's not. And that's what happens when you put all your focus on your goals and avoid looking at what really matters are your systems. Every habit follows a system. So now I'm explain to you why setting a goal is your problem as of this point. Winners and losers set the same goals. we might have two people now that come out and say they want to lose weight, and at the end of the month one significantly lose weight and the other significantly did not, but just gain an increment in weight. What's the difference? Systems. People that participate in Olympic events, they all have the aim, they all have the goal of winning medals, gold medals, being the best. But then who comes out best is the people that followed and took their systems seriously and adequately. That is why setting your habits to be goal focused is your problem. So why is setting a goal your problem again? Because after achieving a goal, what next? Achieving goals are momentary changes. Example, setting a goal to clean your room due to the motivation. So you saw a post, oh, clean that room today. Oh, you have not cleaned it for the past 1 week. You should go and clean that room today. And then you go and clean it. That is what? A goal. You have achieved that goal. It is momentary. Now, you avoided the problem, which is what got that room to look that dirty. What made you not sweep your room for a whole week? That is the system you are avoiding. That is where your focus is supposed to be in. And that is what is necessary for growth. That is what is necessary to break that old habit and build a new one. The third reason why setting a goal is your problem. The one problem with goal is that is in the mindset. The third reason why setting a goal is your problem is that the problem with a goal first mindset is that you're pushing your happiness to your next milestone. So now my aim now is to lose 60 kg of weight in 1 month. What now happens if I don't hit it? But that means I've restricted all my happiness to that time if I hit that milestone. But what happens if I don't hit it? Then there's a bigger chance of me drifting back to my old habits because of what? I did not attain that milestone, which was actually a result of giving a goal first mindset instead of a system first mindset. Like I said, goals are important, but then system first mindset should be your priority. What system brought me to this result, and what can I change in the system to bring me a different result? If your systems are the same, your results will always be the same thing. So now, after you do everything you can and you do not achieve your next milestone, it creates an either or mindset conflict. Either this happens and you are happy, or this happens and you are disappointed in yourself. You mentally narrow your vision of happiness. But when you have a system first mindset, you are likely to fall in love with the process, and you don't have to wait to give yourself the promise to be happy. You feel satisfied whenever your system are working. With goals, you don't have a system, but living by grace and chance. Listen, your commitment to the process will determine your progress. When you are finding it hard to change your habits, it's obviously not a you problem or your system problem. You want to change, yeah? But it's most likely you don't have a system for change, or you have a bad system. So I'm urging you today, just take your time. If you need to listen to this more than once, go through it again. Get a book, get a pen, jot down everything you're gaining from this, and then accept this mindset shift. Not just accepting it, work on this mindset shift. Rather than setting a goal, why not work on your system? You want to quit this, you want to quit that. Why not work on the system that got you to where you are before? Focus on that system and not that goal. Like I always say, your struggles, they don't define you. Your mentality, it transforms you. And me, I just want to inspire you. Please and please, before you leave, ensure that you do us a favor by following the podcast, rating the podcast experience, and leaving a comment below. What have you learned? What did you learn something new, or you already know all about it? Just tell me what is an addition you'd like to impute in everything we talked about today, and maybe we'll see how far we'd go. So this podcast is basically about mindset for growth. And I believe habit is a very essential thing in growth, and that is why I brought it as a topic to discuss with you. So don't forget, do well to like, follow, share to somebody who needs this. Don't forget to share to someone who needs this. Comment on the pod and rate the podcast. these things I listed would not take anything from you, but it would be a significant um compound interest to our growth as a community. Peace.